The man just wanted to get reimbursed for his travel expenses, but ended up being given a hard time by the finance team. The company had strict limits on food and lodging reimbursements. Anything over the limit wouldn't be approved. Left with no choice, the man turned to his boss for help, hoping his recent big deal for the company would earn him some leniency. But to his surprise, the boss pretended to be in a tough spot, saying the trip was for work, not for enjoying life. His expenses clearly exceeded company standards, even though the man explained the local prices were high, and he had tried his best to keep costs down. The boss didn't budge, and told him to take this as a lesson, to resubmit the expenses under the new policy, and pay the extra amount out of pocket. Thinking of his sick mother in the hospital, who needed urgent medical treatment, the man had no choice but to give in. But when he returned to finance, they told him the invoice amounts didn't match the reimbursement request, and the boss would need to sign again. So he went back to the boss's office. The boss was clearly annoyed, but reluctantly signed the form. The man thought this time it would finally go through, but finance then said the company had a $5,000 monthly cap on reimbursements, and his $45,000 claim would need to be paid out over 9 months. The man snapped on the spot, feeling like they were just messing with him, but finance told him if he didn't like it, he could take it up with the boss. So he stormed back to the boss's office, accusing finance of being unreasonable, only to get scolded by the boss for bothering him with such a petty issue. In that moment, the man finally realized this whole thing was a setup between the boss and finance. They just didn't want to reimburse him, but his mother was still in the hospital, urgently needing money for treatment. So the man had to humble himself and beg the boss to let him take an advance on his salary. But the boss said advances came with fees and interest, and he'd end up with less than half his paycheck. The man trembled with rage. He couldn't believe that after years of hard work, this was how they treated him, while the boss smugly thought he was being clever, not realizing he'd soon pay for his greed. Turns out the man's talent had already been noticed by many other companies, all of them eager to hire him, but he had turned them all down. Out of loyalty to the boss who once gave him a chance, he thought his years of dedication would earn him some dignity and respect, but all he got was cold indifference. The boss knew his mother was seriously ill, and still chose to make things difficult, even charged him fees and interest just to get his own salary early, all because he believed the man wouldn't leave easily. But what they didn't realize was that their ridiculous policies and actions had completely broken the man's spirit. Just then, his sister called, telling him their mother's condition had suddenly worsened, and she was rushed into emergency care. The doctor said they needed $40,000 immediately. Staring at the invoice, the man felt like he couldn't breathe, so he went to beg the boss again, asking for an advance on his $200,000 project bonus, but was told the company's cash flow was tight, and was even told to take out a high-interest loan. That was the moment he truly understood. The boss never intended to give him that money, so he made up his mind to make the heartless boss pay. Later, he was drinking on the street when he ran into the partner from that $1 million deal. After hearing what happened, the partner was furious. He had only signed the deal because of the man, and now knowing the boss tried to steal the bonus, he immediately canceled the partnership and offered the man a job on the spot, promising a better platform and real respect.